Welcome to Soar Higher with Jason Ballard, a podcast developed for leaders by leaders to inspire you to reach your highest altitude possible by providing proven strategies, resources, and expert advice to accelerate your personal and professional success beyond what you thought was possible. Well, hey everybody, I'm Joel Weiland, and I'm joined in the studio today by your host, Jason Ballard, and today we're going to be talking about the questions to ask yourself when you feel stuck in your career. Welcome to the show, Jason. How have you been, my man?
I am awesome as usual. Great day, beautiful day. I'm excited to talk about this and help people out so they don't get stuck in their career.
Yeah, man, me too. Well, friends, we're coming off of a discussion, or rather kind of a series that we've been doing for quite some time about just kind of business in the post-COVID world. And so now we're kind of starting to transition, and we kind of want to shift the focus onto the individual, the person that's working hard every day, trying to get to their next step, trying to soar to new heights. And so today, again, we're going to be talking about just the things to start thinking about, asking yourself to see if you might be stuck. Jason, what do you have to tell us about that?
Well, so many folks out there working hard, trying to get through some of these difficult times of the pandemic and working from home and kids and this and that going on. Life is stressful. It's just a busy, crazy world that we live in right now. People are trying to navigate through that. And a lot of people have started kind of looking in the mirror and like, hey, am I really where I need to be? Is this really an opportunity for me to flourish here? What do I want to be? Am I on the right track? How do I know I'm being successful? What do I make of all this? Mm-hmm. And a lot of folks are really doing some soul searching right now to figure out, do I want to work in the office anymore? Do I want to work remotely? Is there a hybrid solution? Where the heck am I in my life? Where in my career? Where am I at, period? COVID and all the things that came out of that really forced people on an individual level to really take a hard look at themselves and figure out where are they, what are their priorities? Are they on the right track in life? And if not, what the heck are the options to get them to where they may want to be? And so today we're excited to be talking about that.
That's awesome, brother. So on this topic of just people feeling stuck, what are a few things that you can tell us from your experience about how people get stuck? What are the symptoms of getting stuck? What would most people normally feel in that situation? Give us a nice, easy layup on that one.
Yeah, no problem. So, most people don't go out in the world every day and work out in the workforce with the intention of, hey, I'd love to get stuck in my career and be miserable, right? Yeah. Nobody intentionally does it. Nobody thinks about it that way. It's kind of silly, right? But here's a trend. Here's what I see more common than other. Folks are young, they go to school, they get out of school, whether it's high school, VOTEC school, college, universities, whatever that may be. They get out into the world and they get their first, big job after school. And, well, heck, I need a car to go to school or go to work and get around and do things now that I'm a thriving adult. So, man, I need to go get a car. And they'll go out and they'll buy some kind of a nice car. For most people, that means they go into debt. Mm-hmm. They borrow money against that to do that, right? They already have a lot of folks these days have crushing college loan debt, well over 100,000. So now they're getting out of the world. They're a little bit of a disadvantage. You got debt kind of hanging over them. Mm-hmm. They need a car to get back and forth, go to the grocery store, do things. So they go buy a car. That helps them do that, but it creates debt. Well, then they need a place to stay. Mom and dad, are under the mindset of, well, hey, we raised you, you graduated, time to get out on your own, time to, be a grown boy and girl, and it's time to get out there. Well, I need an apartment, I need a house, I need somewhere to stay. Well, that costs money. Utilities, they figure out their budget, right? All of that stuff creates debt, which creates pressure. Now they've got to go find a job that can pay them enough money to pay all their bills, give them some spending money left over to do some fun things every once in a while with their friends. Well, that happens. And so a lot of times, people are out there looking for jobs, especially in a market like it is right now where things are a little tough. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, they end up in a job because it pays the bills and it takes some stress away from them and allows them to sleep a little bit at night, but it may not be the right fit for them. And a lot of young people don't even really know what the right fit even is for them, right? They're trying to figuring that out. And so they'll get out there. Well, then after a few years, they meet somebody and they get married. A few years later, they have kids and life just happens. And usually in their early to mid 30s, there's a day where they're dreading going to work. And they're feeling sluggish. They don't feel alive. They don't feel engaged. They're not excited to go to work. They're looking at the traffic light, hoping it turns red so they can, delay them going through the front doors of the workplace, dealing with a boss they don't like or a culture that's not good for them. And they've been doing this. They're on the mouse wheel going round and round doing the daily grind, and they're unhappy. They're unfulfilled. They're not growing. They're not being promoted. They're not evolving, and they're not doing things on the level they envision their career being, and they're stuck.
Yeah. And I guess just from like maybe a psychological perspective, I think human beings just in general, and I think it's celebrated well in this culture that we live in, want to be pushed. They want to be challenged. They want people to not accept them right where they're at. They want someone behind them, motivating them, pushing them forward. And for a lot of people, they want to push themselves. They want to take it to the next level. They don't want to feel stuck in whatever they're pursuing. Any personal stories or experiences just in your own coaching experience that you've seen, like real people experience these symptoms?
Yeah, you bet. About 3 years ago, I met a gentleman. He contacted me. He was an executive in a global firm. We get on the phone. We start talking, getting to know each other. I'm like, so where are you at in your career? How are things going? I asked a load of questions. This guy talked for an hour straight, and I just sat there and listened. He was angry. He was bitter. He was frustrated. He was blaming everybody, and he had all this pent-up emotion. He was just stranded on an island. He was stuck in this company. The company was having issues. He had been there a long time. He'd been there, right around 20 years. And he knew people in the company, knew the right answers. People quit listening to him. The company leaders came and went, and just things happened. And he was stuck. He was miserable. Things were not going well for him. And he was leading a large part of the company.
Wow.
And had a lot of great ideas, and it just kept falling on deaf ears. He wasn't getting promoted. Somebody came in above him that he knew that he didn't think that they should have been promoted. They were kind of less competent than he was. He was just lost and angry, and he just didn't know what was what.
So let me ask you this. From what you've been saying, I feel like I hear you saying that you don't necessarily have to not have success to feel stuck. Like, people can be in a position where they have a lot of authority, they have a lot of leverage, they may even have a position really high in a company where they have a lot of creative control. Can people still feel stuck even in those situations?
Everybody gets stuck. Everybody gets hung up somewhere in their journey. Everybody does. It's just a matter of when and what part of that journey they're on dictates, the options that they have at their disposal. That could be, a manager. That could be an employee that's been working there for a long time and just keeps doing the same thing every day. It could be a CEO that's stuck. Leaders. Everybody needs to be developed. Everybody needs to be challenged and stretched. Everybody needs to learn and grow and feel like they're making progress. We have thoughts and visions and hopes and dreams and a life we want to live, and everybody feels like they are off or just not hitting on all cylinders at all points, or not providing as much value as they should be, really ultimately maximizing their full potential.
Yeah. I am curious, and I mean, obviously, this is a situation that so many people find themselves in. But I guess, I guess the one of my preliminary questions is like, is this avoidable? Is this something that like? So, I mean, I'm looking at it from my perspective. Obviously, like I've been in jobs before where I felt stuck, and it wasn't necessarily again because like I didn't have creative freedom or I didn't have a good position. It was just there was some aspect of it that I didn't feel like I could move forward. At one particular case, it was just there wasn't gonna, be compensation in the future, and I was about ready to have a couple kids, so I could definitely relate.
It's a motivating factor.
Yeah, oh, certainly, gotta feed those kids, and my goodness, they're expensive. Ironically, they're not as expensive when they're young as I thought they'd be, but my goodness, now that they're a little older, and there's like sports and programs and school. Oh my goodness,
there's no discounts along the way.
Oh
man.
yeah, there's no, whew, man, and I definitely appreciate what the federal government gives me back, every year for those kids, but my goodness, they cost a lot more than what the federal government wants to gift me with. So what are, or are there ways to avoid getting into that first big position where you feel stuck, or is that just kind of an inevitable thing that every person has to learn and grow through?
Well, I'm going to give you that answer in two parts.
Yeah.
One, everybody goes through a life journey. Everybody has good days, bad days. Everybody has, marriages, breakups, divorces, ups and downs in their personal life. Everybody has good days with their kids, bad days with their kids, bosses. It's just life. It's just the journey that we're on, going down the old river of success. And so everybody at certain points gets to a point where they do things get busy. There's so much going on in the world around us, all this, stuff and going on in the economy and politics, and then your daily life of dogs and kids and wives and husbands and in-laws and traveling and sports and school and, it gets complicated. It gets busy. It gets overwhelming sometimes. And people, it's like driving down the road. You're looking out the windshield. It's a bright sunny day. Everything's clear and awesome. And then you go around the curve and you run into a rainstorm and you can't see very good in front of you, right? Yeah. It can happen that fast where you just kind of lose clarity. You just kind of get caught up in things and you're like, man, I need to sleep on this. I need to think through this. I've just got hit with a wave of things that are really weighing me down and dragging me down, and I just don't know what to do, right? So that happens. But the other part of the question is, yes, there are mitigating things you can do. There are proactive things you can do that minimize the amount of time and the number of episodes you go through in getting lost and preventing you from getting lost. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think this is something that we've talked about before, maybe privately outside of the studio. But I remember it very specifically, just in one of our first meetings we had. We were at a restaurant. It was a sports bar / sushi place, which had some.
What can go wrong?
Yeah, there's a few disclaimers on the menu, I'm sure, about ingesting raw fish. But one thing that I really appreciated and respected that you said about yourself that I related with was just this healthy version of dissatisfaction. Like I feel like in this discussion specifically with getting stuck, there are a few people that may just live their entire life, work a job for 45 years and retire and love every second of it and, climb whatever ladder they were specifically in and they just loved it and they got exactly to where they they wanted to go. But and I'm not disparaging those kinds of people at all. I'm just saying, one, they're rare, and two, I feel like a lot of the most successful people have this healthy version of dissatisfaction. Like they want to keep growing, they want to keep moving to the next step. And sometimes along the way, obviously, that is going to mean that people feel stuck. And that's why people like you are around, Mr. Jason Coaches.
That's right.
What are just some very basic symptoms? Say I'm 30-ish. I'm out in the workforce. I've got maybe my first or my second biggest job, and I'm emotionally feeling stuck. What are some just symptoms that I could look at in my own life to see if I really am stuck, or if maybe I don't know if I'm the problem?
Yeah.
What are some symptoms?
Yeah. There's two sides of this coin, right? There's a I think you call it a happy, a happy, dissatisfied person, right? Where sometimes there may be a perfectionist, maybe they're just, hungry and they're just constantly, chasing something and wanting to learn and grow and read books and listen to people that are smart about a particular topic, go to conferences, have coaches, have mentors, whatever that may be. There are a lot of people that are just type A, go-getter, self-motivated people that are just never satisfied, that are just constantly craving, those kind of things, and which is really, really good. There is a downside to that, where people are just never happy with anything, and they don't celebrate the success enough. They're only looking at what's wrong or what needs to be improved, and they don't look at the 49 successes they just created over the past, year or whatever, right? Now, for folks out there, the other side of that coin is folks that may be stuck, that may be kind of lost in their way a little bit, and things, the world around them is just kind of evolved, and they're kind of in the, what I call the fog of war, and they're just kind of, they don't know which way to go. They don't know what their options are, and should I just be patient and stick this out and go with the motions of the boss and the company, or should we be thinking differently? I don't even know what my options are. People that get stuck, it can be very unhealthy. Here are some things that I want the audience to see if they resonate with. Yeah. If you are stuck, if you feel you are not moving forward, you're not accomplishing, some kind of goals, hopes, dreams, if you, are at odds with your boss and there's tension and stress and frustration, if you are staying up at night worrying about things and just, your mind, it's hard for you to shut that off, that is unhealthy. And a lot of people, I'd say about 65, 70% of the people that are out there right now in the current situation are feeling some level of this, right? Here are some things to be looking for. Are you unhappy? When you think about your job, your life, are you truly happy? Are you gratified? Or do you feel fulfilled and proud? Man, I worked really hard today. I came home, I got stuff done. I feel like I made a difference, made an impact. And man, I love this job. I could put mustard on this and eat it for lunch every day. This is good stuff. It doesn't get any better than this. Or is it, man, I went to work, I did my job. I don't know if I made a difference. I don't know if they made an impact. My boss kind of seems happy, but I don't really know. I don't really get a lot of feedback. I don't feel like things are right. I feel like things are out of sorts. I just don't feel like I'm really engaged, right? An unhappiness. Do you feel depressed? Do you feel depressed where you're just sad and you're not walking around with your chin up and your chest out and you're proud of you, proud of the things you're doing, proud of the things that your team is doing and moving forward and helping your clients or your teammates, right? Or are you depressed? Are you disengaging? Are you not talking as much? Are you not contributing as much? Do you feel like no matter what you do, it doesn't matter? It's just going to be the way it is, and you'll do your part and you'll stay under the radar and the company is what the company is. How do you feel? Are you depressed there, right? Are you frustrated? Are you angry? There's a lot of frustrated people out there in this world and angry people. That's not healthy. They carry around anger and he said, she said, and I was supposed to get promoted and this guy got promoted ahead of me and I was promised this and this is supposed to happen and I was supposed to go to training and I didn't. I got screwed out of this and screwed out of that. Are you a victim? Do you feel like a victim, like things are happening to you, not with you? Do you feel like the world is against you and you're just like fighting everybody? Do you have a lot of arguments with people? Do you constantly the tension with people? Those are some signs there, right? A few other things. Has your performance dropped off?
That's a good question.
Has your performance dropped off? Meaning you can hit a 10 out of 10 every day, but you're only hitting a 6?
Yeah.
Are you showing up to work on time? Are you putting in a normal, 8, 10 hour day? Do you, the 8 and 10 hours you there, are you engaged? Are you contributing? Are you leading? Are you managing? Are you in the game at your absolute best that day?
Yeah.
And then you come back in excited the next day or not. Has your performance dropped? If you're not operating at your best every day and you're not performing what you know you're capable of performing, you got a challenge.
Something's wrong there.
Something's wrong. A couple other things. Are you using more sick leave than you normally do?
Yeah.
Has that ticked up for you? Do you notice you calling in saying I'm sick more often than you did a year ago or a year before that? That is a sign. Burnout.
Mm-hmm. We should probably do a whole episode on that. on that.
And we will. That's a whole nother topic. A lot of people that are stuck are just burnout. They just feel like they put it all on the line and it just isn't moving the needle. And I feel like giving up. I just feel like I'm burning out. I feel like the gas is running out of the tank. And then, are you turning over jobs a lot? People that are unhappy, people that are stuck, are constantly looking for that next thing. They're hoping that next job, that next interview is going to be the thing that magically fixes everything for them. If I just get that job in this place with this boss, and everything will get better, and most of the time it doesn't. So are you moving around too often?
Yeah.
And just going around in circles, really going nowhere.
Grass is greener kind of mentality. Yeah, absolutely. And I think people in at least my generation, I would squarely say I'm a millennial, which comes with a lot of good and a lot of bad. I feel like you know where you're at. I feel like you know if you're stuck. You may have resonated with one or every single one of those things. And if you did, I think that you know where you're at. I think it takes a little humility, sometimes to say like I am stuck or I need help in that stuckness. But man, that's what we're here for. Jason, how are we going to help these people? Tell us a little bit about some steps, some practical steps that people can take to either get unstuck or start the process of just mentally exercising them out of that depression, that sadness, that grass is greener mentality.
If you listen to this podcast and you said, yeah, I'm thinking this way, I'm feeling this way, this might be me, and they know, these people, everybody knows themselves. They know when they're driving home, everybody's got a conscience, everybody's thinking about things, right? If any of those things resonated with you, if there's even a chance that anything we described today connects with you and you're like, yeah, that kind of, I can relate to that. That sounds a little bit like me. That sounds a lot like me. That is me.
Yeah.
Right? If that resonates, then I've got some good news for you. The question in your mind is like, okay, I resonate with it, but great, awesome, great podcast. Thanks for telling me what I already know.
What my problems are.
What do we do about it? Well, I've got some, like I said, some good news. We're going to give you 3 things you can do today to move yourself and prevent yourself from getting into this situation so you can thrive. You can figure out what's right for you and turn the ship around in the right direction for you. All right? First and foremost, understand where you are today. If I pulled up a GPS of you and your life and where you are in the journey of your personal and professional life, where would you be on the map?
Yeah.
Are you in the beginning stages, the middle stages, the ending stages? Where are you? Off in a ditch? Are you off on the super fast highway? Are you on the country road? Where the heck are you on your own personal journey and map? Got to understand that. Well, how do we do that? 1, ask yourself the following questions. Am I happy? Am I truly happy? Don't just think about it like, well, you know, people ask me how I'm doing all the time, and I say I'm busy and everything's good. No. Cut the crap. Really, truly look yourself in the mirror and ask, am I really happy?
And I would imagine that doesn't mean that you can have, or you can't have a couple bad days here and there. Everybody's got
everybody does.
You know, has a bad day. They got, you know, conflict. I feel like conflict is just kind of, you know, in my very limited experience, I've realized that conflict is just a pretty constant thing in the human experience. Like you're always going to have a fight with a coworker or with a boss. But are you actually, as a rule, happy?
Right. This is generally speaking, when you plot out 30 days of your life, how many of those days, you know, if 20 to 25 of those days you're happy and awesome and great. If 20 of those days is the common trend is you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, you're not excited to go to work, you're not excited to engage the next project and get the team going and go in, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. If you don't feel you're not being challenged, you're not being stretched, you're not being, you know, having the opportunities to grow and to lean into things and really, you know, kind of tap into your God-given talents and really push yourself out there on the edge. If you're not doing those things, why? All right. A few other questions. Are you being developed?
That's good.
Do you have a mentor? Are you getting promoted? Are you moving in your career? Are others outpacing you? Are you as successful as you can be? If you answer those questions as yes, I am not happy. I am not fully fulfilled. I'm not fully gratified. I'm not being promoted. I'm not being developed. I don't have a mentor. If you're answering those questions those ways, now we know where you are.
Yeah.
And even if you do answer like, yeah, I'm happy most of the time, and yeah, things are going pretty well. Okay, but I'm still not as successful as I want to be. This still applies to both of you. So first, answer those questions and figure out where you are on the scale, so we can plot a map on this GPS and make sure you end up in the place where you really truly want to be, and not just driving around aimlessly looking for, you know, the next exit that looks like a nice place to stop, right? Yeah. The second thing is do an assessment. Assess yourself. Connect with a coach like me or other people out there that have access to assessments. They're very low cost, easy to do, and they give you real, accurate, scientifically based data on who you are, where you are, and what is the right fit for you. What's the right culture for you? Where are you stuck? How do you get unstuck, et cetera, right? There are assessments like diamond mapping that help people figure out point A and point B. It takes them through an exercise of getting clarity, breaking that down on a no crap level of actually getting into the root level of those things so you can see clearly exactly where you are and how you compare to other people out there, so we can figure out, you know, how to move you forward. That is number one. Understand where you are today. Number two, stop being busy. Stop making excuses. Every time you talk to somebody out there, everybody says, oh, I'm busy, I'm good, I'm just got all this stuff going on. And they make excuses of why they're not progressing or why they're not doing things or taking action or whatever. Stop making excuses. Take accountability. Okay? It's not about your talent. Everybody's got talent. Everybody was born with God-given talented abilities. It's not about the talent. It's about the mindset.
Yeah.
This is about mindset. And if you're stuck, it's stuck in your mind. When you clear up things in your mind and you do step one and understand where you are, then you can move to moving excuses and constraints and all that stuff out of the way, where you can start looking at options.
Yeah.
What are my options? How do I move forward? Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go straight? Do I go Do I go backwards? Which way do I go? Which way is best for me? I don't know. What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's
Haven't
why we're
thought about
talking, right? Which leads us to point number 3. Get a mentor. Get a coach. All right. Less than 10% of the employees out there in the world do not have a mentor. Mentor defined as somebody in their organization or even outside their organization that understands their perspective, knows exactly where they're at, and can help give them advice.
Yeah.
This could be a boss. This can be another leader in the company. It could be another leader in another company. Do not pick a family member. Do not pick a friend. They are not good mentors. You need somebody outside of your circle that can look at you holistically, that's way farther down this journey than you, smarter, wiser, has access to tools, capabilities, and assessments and all kinds of things that can really, truly help you understand things, not just be somebody there to listen to you gripe and complain, right? So
maybe even willing to hurt your feelings once in a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Get a coach. Get a mentor. Get somebody that's qualified, professional, certified to be smart enough to give you the best advice possible, right? If you really sit back and think about it, what's your 2 most important investments in life?
Your house and your 401k. Shooting off
Part of it, yeah. So the biggest investment people make is in their home. Right? That's one of their biggest financial investments is their home. That's where they raise their family and, memories are made and all that stuff. The second most important investment that people have is in their business or career. You may not be a business owner. You may be a career professional working in a business. It's in your career. You spend more time in your job than you do anything else. So if you are stuck, do you want to put the future of your family, the future of your career, and your success and your hopes and your dreams in the hands of some friend that may or may not, he may be a good drinking buddy, but are not trained, qualified, and certified to really, truly help you make the right decisions possible? Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs access to these types of things. And it's like, we talked about that particular client of mine that called when we were angry. He was frustrated. He was griping and complaining. And, luckily we were, coaching virtually, because if we had been in the same room, I think he would try to put me in a headlock and punch me or something. He was just livid. Nobody was listening to him. His voice didn't matter. No matter what he did, it just wasn't working. And he was frustrated and burnt out and just pissed at the world and was going to get everybody in between, right?
Yeah. Whatever ended up happening to that guy?
Well, the story ends well.
Ooh, I like those kinds of stories.
After about the 3rd session, he decided to come up for air. He ran out of air. He came up for air. He gave me a chance to talk a little bit. His nerves, calmed down. His voice de-escalated, and we started having some fruitful conversations. Asked him some really hard questions. I did give him assessments. I did take him through things like diamond mapping and many other things that can help him gain clarity. And it took all of the things in the world he was mad about, all the distractions, all the issues, all the problems, all the love and the hate and all the things that were going on with him. And it just narrowed that focus very specifically. And I worked with this particular gentleman for about 1.5 years. Here's where he landed. He followed the process. He did the things that we're talking about doing. He was very good at following the process. He left that particular role, got another job with another firm, another global firm, made about just shy of double what he was making.
Wow. It's always helpful.
Got more responsibility, all the things he was griping about, all the things he was mad about, he ended up in the role that was a perfect, ideal fit for him, in the right culture, in the right place, that did invest, that did allow him to be developed, that did allow him to do the things that were most important for him, because he's a high performer. This particular gentleman, he's a type A, go-getter, high-performing, kind of guy. In a year and a half, we went through all of those things together. I helped him with his resume. I helped him with interview prep. I helped him negotiate the terms. He ended up getting, about $40,000 in bonuses and relocation. And it was a sweet deal. He ended up, doing very, very well for himself. And he landed in this new role, and it was just perfect. It was a perfect fit for him. Well, as the story goes on, this particular gentleman, his wife, had been trying to have kids for years. Ironically, their life settled down. They sold their house. They got a new house. All of these things that he was trying to struggle to figure out and work through started happening. And I got a text about 3-4 months ago, had him and his wife and a little baby in their arms.
That's great.
They finally got pregnant, and life completely turned around for them. And so you can live the ideal life. You can achieve your dreams. This is the greatest country in the world. You can do it. You will do it. You just need help doing it. It takes a village. So if you're stuck, if you're down, if you feel like, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there is. You just need to broaden your horizons. You need to connect with people that can help you and do the things we talked about on the show. You will adapt. You will overcome. You will be successful.
Man, well, those are great words, Mr. Jason. Thank you so much. And for all of you listening, remember that. Remember that if you're feeling stuck, this is where you start. You start with a mindset shift. You start with understanding where you are, not being busy and making excuses, and then finding the right people to take you to the next level. Excellent words, Mr. Jason. Well, thank you very much for listening to Soar Higher with Jason Ballard. All of our social links for all of our social channels will be in the show notes. Please like and subscribe. We're always looking for new ways to interact with our listeners. So if you have something that you'd like to hear us talk about or even argue about, because we do that occasionally, you can reach out and please get a hold of us with that. If you're interested in learning anything more about what Jason does as an executive and business coach, please visit soarhighercoaching.com. And please, as always, join us again next week as we provide more insight on how to overcome the latest business and career challenges people are facing in the workforce today. We'll see you next week.